We started getting calls, emails, Facebook messages. Hey, do you make MOLLE panels for my 1987 Jeep Grand Cherokee? Or whatever weird, cool projects you guys have, boats, things like that. We've got 5 existing sizes of our tech plates, which are essentially a universal MOLLE panel featuring our block and slot pattern. And so we're kind of doubling down this year. Hey guys, Matt here. As you can see, I'm standing in front of a table with some freshly laser cut parts, along with some of our existing tech plates. So if you're new to the channel, this is a little bit of background on tech plates and how they came to be. We started making MOLLE panels for specific vehicles about 8 years ago, 7 or 8 years ago now. And pretty much as soon as we did that, we started getting calls, emails, Facebook messages. Hey, do you make MOLLE panels for my 1987 Jeep Grand Cherokee? Or whatever weird, cool projects you guys have, boats, things like that. The answer was always no, and so eventually we realized we should make some universal products, different sizes, different shapes, with some mounting hardware to help folks like you guys that have unique DIY ideas execute them using some BuiltRight products. So we did that. We've got 5 existing sizes of our tech plates, which are essentially a universal MOLLE panel featuring our block and slot pattern. And so we're kind of doubling down this year. You can see in front of me I've got a bunch of new sizes. I designed these the other day. Cut them out, we're going to use them, we're going to see how kind of useful they feel. We've got some feedback from you guys on specific sizes and specific use cases, but basically we're looking to build this lineup out further. We're going to experiment with the idea of selling them painted or unpainted or powder coated. These are steel, maybe we'll offer them in aluminum as well. Kind of just testing the waters on how can we build this product line to be as useful as possible for you guys. All right, so here are 2 of our existing tech plate sizes. We have 5 right now, just to give you a sense of where our starting point is. Obviously, they've got our signature block and slot pattern. And then around the outside edges, they have sort of these scalloped edges that have slots here that are meant for webbing originally. So that being said, I'm not really seeing people use these slots. And one of the things that they do, they do kind of provide a stylized look. They prevent you from butting 2 panels up together really nicely. So that's something that we're considering with this new line. Just to give you a sense of size, overall, this panel is 25 by 15.5. And this smaller panel is 10 by, I think, 7.5. Yep. So that's the 2 panels. This panel also shows our existing hardware solution, which is a relatively basic set of CNC machined anodized spacers, countersunk washers, and stainless steel hardware. Again, we offer these spacers in 2 different sizes, just trying to give you guys options as far as how you're using these panels, because we don't know. That's sort of the purpose of the product line. So this is our starting point. And then we've got this new set of panels here. I've got 7 different sizes right here. I'll put this on top of this to kind of give you a sense size-wise. So we've got one that's slightly smaller than this. If you want smaller than this, we do have a composite option, which is going to be lighter weight. This is cut out of steel as a prototype. This might be more appropriate as aluminum. It's so small. You're not going to need the strength of steel for something this small typically. So that's something to consider here material-wise. We're going to consider that on all of these panels. Next up, we have essentially this panel that is 2.5 times or so the size of that one. This one's 17 inches total height and 6.5 wide. These are both 6.5 wide. We're limited a little bit in width to a multiple right, of the MOLLE opening here. And then we're keeping the border at about 3/8 of an inch. This is a square panel. We haven't had a square panel yet. This would be if you needed to fill a bigger space, you might use a few of these in series. This panel in particular is 11 by 11. I'm gonna pull this one over here and set it on top of our other bigger square panel. This bigger square panel is 17 by 17. Again, something you might use if you're trying to fill a large area, a handful of these in series. And then we've got a couple of other smaller, lower profile ones. This is a horizontal configuration. You can kind of tell by the orientation of the MOLLE slots there. This one's 23 by I think it's 3 tall. So if you've got a horizontal, narrow space above a door, inside a cabinet, whatever it is, this might be a great option. And then sort of the opposite of that would be, I'll set it together here. This panel here, so this is a similar panel, but obviously in a vertical configuration. So if you've got a small spot between two doors or right inside your garage, I don't know, my mind is just racing with ideas here, but that's the point, is that you guys can make these into whatever you need. And then the last one, if you follow the channel, you saw us do a similar panel like this for attachment to our bedside accessory rail above a decked drawer system. So this, in terms of height, is 7 inches tall, which is gonna match that panel I showed you earlier, but it's wider. I think it's maybe 22, 23 inches wide. So the goal here is we are taking into consideration our existing 5 sizes, trying to add to that. Now that we have all of the capability that we have in-house and we're getting more and more feedback from you guys, we're just gonna keep adding to this product line. Would really be interested in feedback regarding sizes. Maybe there's a different shape that we're not considering, and then also materials. So, you know, a bigger panel like this, should this be steel or aluminum? Do you guys want options of both? Would you want to be buying raw panels or powder coated or both? That's kind of where we're at with this project right now. My next step is to kind of continue having this internal conversation regarding sizes, and then also to experiment with this edge condition. So how do we like a smooth edge like this versus the more stylized edge? Is this useful? Can we make it more useful? And then the last thing is the mounting hardware. So I shared with you the CNC spacers there. I've got some creative ideas that would complement the rest of this product line. I'm not gonna share those with you yet, but you'll see more in the future. And then the last thing is sort of evaluating this block and slot pattern. Is this the most useful for a more universal option like this? Are there other things we should consider? Should we have multiple options? So I know that I'm talking a lot. Really, that's where we're at in the project, is all of these options, and I'm trying to figure out what the right path forward is without going too broad. So that is where we're at with building out this Universal Tech Panel product line. As you can tell, we're at a bit of a crossroads. If you guys have any specific ideas, specific use cases, specific sizes, materials you'd be interested in seeing, leave them in the comments, give us a bit of a description, and we'll pick 5 of them, and we'll custom make those panels, and we'll ship them to you and see how you use them. So if you have any questions, comments, feedback, leave them in the comments, shoot us an email, give us a phone call. Catch you next time.